deny that there is any God, and they'll say, well, if there may or may not have been such a person as Krishna, but it's inconsequential anyway, they will say. In India, most people, they think that, well, that's changing now. Many things are changing due to the distribution of Srila Prabhupada's books. Changing for the better, of course. But generally it's considered that Krishna is the 8th avatar of Vishnu. Is that correct or not? What do you say? No. It's stated in Shastra. Then what are you going to say?
What Shastra?
Vishnu Purana, for instance.
No,
That's so something different is stated in Srimad Bhagavatam. So what are you going to say?
We're going to follow Srimad Bhagavatam.
Both are true. As stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that if you want to accept Krishna as an avatar of Vishnu, it's not wrong because he appears like that. But if we want to come to the Bhagavatam conclusion, if we are to understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, na Chaitanyat Krishna Jagati Paratatvam Paramiha, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is non-different from Krishna. Who is Krishna? He's the Supreme Person who is the origin of all Vishnu forms, but who appears as the 8th avatar of Vishnu. So it's not incorrect to say that, but a fuller or more complete understanding is that Krishna, Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami, Krishna is the origin even of the Narayana forms. So this understanding of Krishna as an avatar of Vishnu, mostly that's there. But if we consider like that, then we think the majesty of Bhagavan, that is the most important aspect of him. Whereas it's a question of perspective. Those who want to see God as most majestic, they will see him as Narayan, or maybe as Krishna also in Dwaraka. And those who emphasize the sweetness of Krishna, they will prefer to see him as the son of Mother Yashoda and Nanda, the cowherd boy in the pastures of Vrindavan. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his teaching is that Madhurja Bhagavatasa, sweetness is the essence of God's godliness. So Bhagavata means of Bhagavan, who is full in all opulences, that strength, this Aishvaryasya Samagrasya, Viryasya, power, Viryasya, Yashasya, his fame, Shriyaha, beauty, Jnana, knowledge, and renunciation, Vairagya. So one who's full in all these opulences, he is Bhagavan. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just looks from a different perspective, that his sweetness, that is the essence of Bhagavan. So those who say that Krishna is the 8th avatar of Vishnu, they're also devotees, they also worship him. That's also glorious. But Age Kawa, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was speaking with Ramananda Rai about what is the goal of life and how to attain it, Ramananda started off by speaking about following Varnashram duties, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected that. Eventually, step by step, Ramananda came up to discuss Savadhaman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanam Raja, Krishna's ultimate teaching in Bhagavad Gita. Take shelter of me only, abandoning all other kinds of dharma, religion. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also, that's external. Well, that's quite a teaching, isn't it? The highest teaching of Bhagavad Gita, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that's external. That's not the essence. And we're distributing Bhagavad Gita everywhere. Is it wrong? No, it's correct. But it doesn't come exactly to the essence, which is love of Krishna. Taking shelter of Krishna to be delivered from all sins, that's not the essence of bhakti. Rather, the essence is, there's the story of the gopis who are willing to accept the sinful reaction of putting their foot on Krishna's head to relieve Krishna from a headache. So that not even caring about whether I'm happy or unhappy or go to hell, only to serve Krishna with pure love. That is the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's. That gives the sweetness. The sweetness comes from giving ourselves fully to Krishna. And Krishna, who's the supreme sweet, he gives himself in reciprocation. So, there are many demons who want to criticize Krishna directly or indirectly. There's a theory that Vishnu, who is mentioned in the Rig Veda, that some old texts, and meanwhile there was some tribal god who people worshipped in some village areas, because people in India, they keep cows, they emphasize, so they anthropomorphically they made a god who looks after cows. If there'd have been pig keepers, then they would have imagined a god who keeps pigs. And this tribal, this is what the mundane scholars said. So this folk religion became morphed with this philosophical Vishnu, and this is the origins of the Bhakti movement. These scholars, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada, for saving us from these people who have this intelligence to avoid Krishna in a very intellectual way. They avoid Krishna. They determined not to have any love for Krishna. And I'm very proud of it. We've come up with this theory and that theory. The others will criticize. He's immoral. He's a liar. He's a thief, even from his very childhood. He was born of good parents, but then it must have been something from his previous life. He had this habit of stealing, and he was very badly behaved. He was immorally mixing with the girls. We have to hear from proper devotees and understand, Janma karma chame divya. Everything Krishna does is transcendental. Everything he does is good. Krishna's stealing, that is so good that up to the present day he is glorified as a thief. Vallabhacharya, he wrote this Choragraganya. What is it? Is it Ashtakam, Shatakam? I can't remember. But poem. Series of poems. Series of verses. Glorifying Chor, thief, Agraganya, the biggest thief. Where does he belong? The thieves should be put in the prison. But Krishna comes to the prison of this material world, performs such charming pastimes, steals our heart and takes us out of this prison and back to the world of freedom. So we're in the prison because we are thieves. We think Krishna is immoral. But we are immoral. If we think this woman is my wife, that is immoral. Really? I thought you're supposed to get married, and that's dharma, isn't it? To be married and just have a girlfriend without marriage, that's immoral. That's more immoral. But to think this woman belongs to me, actually belongs to Krishna. So if we think that this woman is meant for my service, then that's immoral, because all the women, all the men, everyone is meant for the service of Krishna. Of course, that's a very high understanding. And in this world, we are to follow basic dharma, in which the wife serves the husband, but it should be understood not just that the husband is serving her, but together they're serving Krishna. She is called Sahadharmini, or one who together performs activities of dharma. So people will criticize in various ways. There's quite a well-known picture of Krishna, it's quite widely circulated in the present time, of baby Krishna holding down on his hands and knees with one hand holding a globe. This is circulated by a group of people called anyway I won't say their name, might pollute this assembly. They have the idea that actually Krishna didn't speak the Bhagavad Gita, Shiva spoke the Bhagavad Gita. What nonsense. And then how are you going to say, when Arjuna says to Krishna, Chanchalang himana Krishna, and they say that he addresses him as Krishna, and they say that anyway, one of their theories was that Krishna, he was very bad. He had so many bad habits, but he had some good things also. But next time he's going to come again, and this time he'll be completely pure. Poor Chitragupta. He has to. If you steal, if a person in this material world steals and lies and murders, it's not as bad as this blasphemy of Krishna, which is masked. It's set up to praise. Oh, he'll be very good, as if we are to judge who is Krishna. So avoid these Mayavadis who speak of Krishna, but their understanding of Krishna, even if apparently devotional, it's so wrong and it's so bad that it completely kills any real tendency toward devotion. So actually, if we are to celebrate Janmastami, we have to celebrate it knowing properly who Krishna is, because there are so many wrong ideas, bad ideas. Krishna very mercifully appeared in the sacred land of Bharata Bhumi, nowadays in a truncated form as India. There's his great mercy that he appeared in that land, but his appearance in that land became a problem for the demons, not only when he was personally present. He killed all of them, directly or not all of them. He killed many of them directly or indirectly. Personally he killed so many, and through the agency of Bhima and Arjuna especially, he killed so many others. But some of them didn't die, and some of them are born again in Kali Yuga. Rakshasim Kalimashricha Jayante Brahma Yonishu. Some of them are born as Brahmins in Kali Yuga. They learned about Krishna from Shastra, and then they wanted to kill him by some philosophical manipulation. So Krishna becomes a problem for the demons, because he's established in Bhagavad Gita as the Supreme Lord. He's established in Srimad Bhagavatam. But they do not like this. They're envious of this. So they want to twist that, and they do so in various ways. Therefore we should hear about Krishna from pure devotees. Otherwise there may be people who they may appear to be very pious, but then their understanding of Krishna is wrong. There's so many people who say, well, actually Shiva is supreme. And there are even scriptures which seem to support that Shiva is supreme. But that is to misguide those who want to be misguided. They may, at some level, they may need that, because they're too sinful to surrender to Krishna, so they accept Shiva not knowing that he's also a devotee of Krishna. They accept him as supreme, and then at least they follow some Vedic principles. And if they get the full mercy of Lord Shiva, then he brings Krishna to this world. As Advaita Acharya brings Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to this world. There are others who also, they're Vaishnavas, but they don't accept Krishna as supreme. They'll say, our Ram is better. Our Ram was very moral. Your Krishna is not so good. This is, of course, another misunderstanding. No true bhakta of Ram will say that. But some say that. So many misconceptions have to be addressed. Janmashtami is a good day for devotees to themselves take a vow. Every day is a good day to take a vow. That now Krishna has appeared in this world, and next year there should be so many more people celebrating Janmastami. Every year should be a bigger festival. Double it, Srila Prabhupada said. Double. If we go on doubling, then within a few years it should be the whole world. By the doubling and doubling and doubling. Try to bring more and more people. But not just bring, we have to train them also in the philosophical understanding. We have to train people. Otherwise, simply to bring them, if they don't have a clear understanding of Krishna, then they'll have an unclear understanding. Just like I was saying, these people, for Krishna is a problem for them, so they misinterpret. And people, one thing I'm seeing in India, as I live there most of the time, that many people being inspired by Srila Prabhupada's teachings, the influence of his movement, they are, definitely Hinduism in general got a big boost from Srila Prabhupada's preaching. In fact, this was in the 1970s, there was a magazine, the Illustrated Weekly. What is that called? I even forgot the Illustrated Weekly of India. It died now. That it was a English magazine that every educated person, you could say, in India, they would read that. It got killed by India Today, another magazine. So on one issue there was a photo on the front page of Onkar Prabhu, who was the head pujari of Krishna Balaram temple, French. There was a photo of him standing in front of the deities with the headline, "Saviors of Hinduism." And when I first went to India to stay there, that was the mid-1970s, it was very difficult because some people appreciated, most people weren't interested. The young people especially were, many of them, of course it was different in different parts of India, they were quite offensive to the devotee. They would insult us. They thought, what is this stupid Krishna? They were very much influenced by atheistic propaganda. But times have changed, largely due to the influence of Srila Prabhupada and his movement. Another thing at that time, as soon as we started to speak that God, the Supreme, is a person, immediately there would be impassioned protest. No, no, no. You don't know. We're born Hindus. We know. You don't know. So times have changed, and there is definitely much more interest in Krishna, even in India. But others are being nourished by that. So many bogus gurus are coming up, and they'll speak something about Krishna, but they don't know Krishna properly. Evangyo veti tattvataha. One who knows Krishna properly, in truth, Krishna says, they can get the benefit of knowing about me. If we know about Krishna, but we don't accept that his Janma, his appearance, being celebrated today, and his activities are transcendental, then we may become actually offensive to Krishna. It's so important to give these teachings clearly, with proper understanding. Therefore, our Acharya, Bhakti Vedanta, the Bhakti is the proper conclusion of all Vedic knowledge. Bhakti Siddhanta. To spread Bhakti, there are many who spread Bhakti. It's said that Mira and Surdas, Kabir, he's completely mixed up, Mayavadi, but they spread Bhakti. But Bhakti must be spread with Siddhanta, proper understanding. Otherwise, not only will the full benefit not be there, but due to misunderstandings, people, even though they come to know of Krishna, that won't benefit them properly. And they may even adopt sinful ideas, the idea that we are all one with Krishna. You see, it came on some TV program, some big Swami, some big teacher. No one most people think, oh, that's very nice. He's a big Swami. He's saying so. So we have a very great task to establish not only in this world bhakti or a general feeling of inclination toward Krishna, but make it very on the strong platform of what is that? Siddhanta balaya chitte na karaha alash eha hoite Krishna lage surira manosh. One should not be lazy in the matter of understanding Siddhanta. I mean, say, well, we can do all the activities of bhakti. We'll come to the temple, we'll offer something, we'll join in kirtan. This is bhakti. But bhakti becomes strong, the mind becomes firmly attached to Krishna if we make the effort to understand who Krishna is as he is. Otherwise, that bhakti is not likely to become mature, and it may go off track also. So these festivals, Srila Prabhupada organized big festivals. It's the Vaishnava tradition of big festivals. Janmastami is a major festival. And people come that nurtures people who are pious and have some inclination toward Krishna. It helps to nurture that spirit within them, and especially at Bhaktivedanta Manor today, many pious Hindus will come for their annual visit, which is not necessarily a bad thing if they live, for instance, in Lancashire. You may not expect that, because many come from all over England. But for others who come from Rickmansworth, or just outside London, they should be coming more. But at least they come once a year. That's good. It's good for them that they come. But our thought should be, they're coming, they have some feeling of attachment to Krishna. That is their great fortune. But how to bring them to the stage that they want to fully be a devotee of Krishna, without conditions, without bringing in their own mundane ideas, or, yes, I go to the temple once, and in their home they'll also have some temple with all kinds of things. And, how to bring them to pure devotional service. This is really what Krishna comes to teach. Krishna doesn't teach mixed devotional service. Of course, he gives some allowance for that. But what he really wants is Mame kam sharanam raja. Surrender to me only. Manmana bhava mad bhakta. Always think of me. Srila Prabhupada also came to this world on the day after Krishna's appearance, so it becomes a great celebration. He came not to simply organize some festivals in which people come once a year, but so that everyone can join in the Nitya Mahotsav. This name is given for Krishna. Just the last few verses of the 9th canto of Bhagavatam, they just set the stage for the 10th canto, for Krishna appearing. And one of the names given for Krishna, just in the last few verses of the 9th canto, is Nitya Mahotsav. He is a daily festival. We have every day we have a festival. What is a festival? Singing, dancing, happiness with friends, taking nice food, talking pleasing things, happiness. Krishna is all happiness every single day. Myself, I was astonished when I first came to Bhaktivedanta Manor. Not to join. I didn't come to join. That happened. But when they got me up in the middle of the night, as I thought, and went to Mangalarti, and it was freezing cold. There was no money to heat the building. And singing and dancing in glorification of God at 4:30 in the morning. I thought, they do this every day? Oh, amazing. Here are people who, they're young people, they could be enjoying so many things, but they're in the cold. They get up And there was no hot showers in those days either. So cold shower. Visitor to the temple, there's no, now we're more mature. But in those days, you're up and you have a cold shower and go to Mangalarti. So there was no gradually bringing us in. I'd never heard of a cold shower. I don't think I'd even heard of a shower. And it's a festival. And they're happy. It's not that they're doing it voluntarily. Every day is a festival. So Janmastami is we celebrate, but that's to give a take. You can do this every day. You like this festival? Dramas, there should be dramas also. We don't do that every day. Dramas of Krishna's appearance, discussion of Krishna, every day. You can live like this all your life. And then when you die, you leave the body, you don't get born again. You go. Everything you've been doing here, you'll do there also. These are the activities of the spiritual world. Worshipping Krishna, dancing with Krishna. He's not just standing there. He'll be in the Vrindavan. We'll be with Krishna, face to face. It used to be Radha Landanishwara. You think this temple room is small? You see Berry Place. It was maybe half the size of this, and the Krishna was so close that you could shake his hand. Almost. You had to be careful with the dancing. The dancing was strictly up and down only. So every day is a festival. Krishna comes to invite. I have all these notes here, but I'm not following them very well. Yeah, Krishna comes to invite us. Let's go back. You belong there. You can come there. We belong in the spiritual world with Krishna. He comes to invite us. By Prabhupada's grace, we're so fortunate that we can very easily understand who Krishna is properly. He is the original personality of Godhead, who some people say is the 8th avatar of Vishnu. Some people, they say he's some tribal god who someone imagined. Some people have no interest whatsoever. By Prabhupada's mercy, we not only know about Krishna, but we know who is Krishna. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the very name Krishna means all attractive. He is the Lord of our heart. He is our very best friend. Suhridam Sarvabhutana. We are so fortunate. Everyone in this world, they don't know who their best friend is. And they take as friends people who will misguide them. Even the friends don't even know they're misguiding them. They think they're being a friend. Just like if someone comes and says, "Oh, I decided to join the Hare Krishna movement." Don't do that. I'm speaking as your good friend, good advisor. And they think they're actually advising them well. But by the grace of Srila Prabhupada, who is the friend of Krishna, he has come as a friend to give the message of Krishna. And we are so fortunate. We can very easily understand, because we heard from Srila Prabhupada, who is Krishna. But most people don't know. So we have this duty to introduce Krishna to others. Krishna is supreme. We must bow down to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada also said that at Bhakti Vedanta Mana. He said the duty of the pujari is when anyone comes to the temple. Srila Prabhupada happened to be in the temple room in a quiet time, and some people came. The pujari was there. And that was actually Janananda Maharaj. No, he told me this. That, or maybe the pujari had told him, but he told me this. That Prabhupada had said when someone comes to the temple, the pujari should teach them to bow down. Don't fail to bow down. Should bow down. So much value in simply by bowing down to Krishna. All the false ego should go away. The tendency to bow down. In the modern world, no one likes to bow down, but death forces us eventually to fall down. But better we practice bowing down to Krishna, serving Krishna, praying to Krishna. So every day is a festival, a happy day. More happiness. And with more and more happiness when more and more people come. What is the devotee's happiness? He's happy in Krishna's happiness. And what is Krishna's happiness? He wants more and more people. He's very greedy in that sense. He already has so many followers. He doesn't need our service, but he wants more. Everyone should come. Why are they forgetting me? He comes to call us. He becomes happy when he sees that we are happy at his lotus feet, singing, dancing, taking prasadam. Krishna, not today. Krishna becomes very happy in seeing that people have become happy. So our greatest offering to Krishna is to bring more and more and more people to Krishna and just teach them who is Krishna. It's not a difficult thing to understand. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are His eternal servants. Our full fortune comes in serving Krishna. We also have to know how to serve Krishna. So there's much education. Let us make Krishna happy by ourselves becoming pure devotees of Krishna and teaching others properly who is Krishna. We may think, well, all these misconceptions, that's just something in India and it doesn't matter here. But we must spread knowledge of Krishna more and more wide, and then we'll see the demons more and more. If we're not seeing the demons much, then maybe there's something wrong. Because when Krishna is present, then demons will show their face more. They become angry and upset. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's process is to convert the demons into devotees, but they'll have so many ideas, so many wrong ideas, so they'll criticize Krishna in so many ways. So we should be prepared. Study these books, distribute these books, understand them. Understand Krishna means we have to understand Him through Bhagavad Gita as it is, first of all. And Krishna, He is the son of Mother Yashoda, but first we have to understand that He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then what does it mean He's the mother? So what? Everyone's got a mother. So why be so exuberant that Krishna is the son of Mother Yashoda? That He's the son of anyone is most astonishing, because He's the master of everyone, He's the origin of everyone. That is His kindness, His sweetness, that He becomes as if an ordinary human, just so that we can personally approach Him. As Srila Prabhupada said once, that people like to, they like to approach God, the magnificence of God. But we can't personally, because we're not magnificent. We're very small, very tiny living beings. We can't approach Him on that level. And Srila Prabhupada gave the example that if we like to see Krishna as the universal form, it's very difficult to relate and serve Him, because if you had to dress the universal form, all the cloth in the world would be exhausted, and still you wouldn't have enough. So Krishna very kindly comes in a form with which we can reciprocate with. That's the form of Radha, Landanishwar, Jagannath, Subhadra. We can reciprocate. It's very difficult for non-devotees or people whose theistic conception is not very developed to appreciate this. But Srila Prabhupada, he gave everything. He gave to people who had no idea. He gave the deities of Krishna to worship, that we can directly worship Krishna and offer Him food, flowers, clothes, ornaments, prayers, establish a direct relationship with Krishna. But then we have to understand The people who are of atheistic disposition or semi-theistic, they will deny that God has form. They'll say he's just a statue. Of course, Krishna's birthday is today. He also has a birthday in December. This Krishna. So every day is his birthday. In some universe he's getting born. Hare Krishna. I'm supposed to finish at 10:30. Any questions, comments, protests? Not many protests today.
Just one thing, Maharaj. In regard to that Janma verse in Bhagavad Gita, that Krishna is come, but he's not part of the existence. The previous acharyas have given one example to illuminate this a little bit, in that when sometimes we see a very, very dirty place, like in the corner of an alley or even on the street, and then we see the sun shine on that place. And although the sun shines there, it's not influenced or contaminated by the condition of the place.
Apavita. Srila Prabhupada used to use that term.
Yes, exactly.
That the sun shines even in a dirty place, but the sun remains aloof. It's not contaminated, but rather he cleaned by the action of the sun. Things like if someone has urinated there, that will evaporate and make it purified. So that's one example given. Someone else?
Thank you, Maharaj. Yes. My question is, Krishna came to us 5,000 years ago. So what reason did the people have who lived here 6,000 years ago, 7,000 years ago to worship Krishna? How would they have known about him then?
How would they have known about Krishna prior to that? Well, knowledge of Krishna is always there in human society among devotees. Just like, for instance, we have Prahlad Maharaj, long before Krishna's appearance, says, Matena Krishne Paratasvatova. People, he mentions Krishna directly. People who are sinful, their inclination to Krishna is not aroused. Prahlad Maharaj is described as Krishna Graha, which means he's like someone. Well, there's the term Bhutagraha, which means caught by a ghost. So he acted like a madman. So Prahlad Maharaj was Krishna Graha. This term is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, which means he acts like a madman, but in thought of Krishna. So knowledge of Krishna is there, but that becomes more prominent when Krishna comes. When Krishna comes, Yada yada hi dharmasya glarnya bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. When dharma is in great decline, then Krishna comes. So it may be that many people didn't know about Krishna. Someone will know. Always there's someone who knows. That's a commonly asked question, that Krishna came at the end of Dwapara Yuga. So what would people... How was the Yoga Dharma established? But in the Acharya's comments, we find that at the beginning of Dwapara Yuga, the sages and rishis, they established that as the Yoga Dharma. It's unusual. Once in a day of Brahma, that means once every 1,000. There's 1,000 Yuga cycles. Krishna appears.
8,640,000,000 years.
Yeah, that's a long time for us. Yeah, anything else? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, oh, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What did you say? Ask something? Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj, for a very wonderful illuminating class.
Yeah, it's become a formality to say that. It should be wonderful. If we speak topics of Krishna in Parampara, then automatically must be wonderful. There's no harm to say so.
Maharaj,
it's not required also.
I asked this question last year, could not find answer, so I'm trying again out this year. Just
You're going to go on every year till you get an answer.
till I get an answer. Google Acharya does not tell this clearly.
Hmm?
Google Acharya does not tell the
Google
answer.
Acharya.
So I need to find answer.
No, that's...
Krishna book is not there, and it's not there in other places. So I just wanted to know, Maharaj, Krishna grows up as a child, and so at a particular age, at age of around 5 years, Krishna is given the cows and the herd. So once a devotee, there was a discussion.
Well, before you go on asking, I'll tell you that Srila Prabhupada, sometimes when he was asked about the spiritual world, he said, you go there, you'll find out. So you'll get your answer. You can go on. If I know, I'll reply. If I don't, I won't.
Okay, Maharaj. So the question was, Maharaj, what age did Balram get his plough? What age did Krishna get his, weapons? Because those were also gifted in Vedic times. So
Weapons, this Sudarshan Chakra was given by Agni. That was later. Not in Vrindavan Leela. When Balaram, when he got that, well, it's the plough and the club, which are Balaram's weapons. He also uses the plough not only for plowing but as a weapon. Therefore, one of his names is Halayudha. He uses the plough as a weapon. As far as I know, there's no scriptural description of anyone giving that to him, but it's his eternal weapon. Therefore, we find in the Yamuna Karshan Leela that he called for his plough, and then his plough came. So when did he get? It's always waiting there in the background. I don't know if there's any ceremony for giving a plough to a farmer. But rather the child will go with the father and just start doing it. He'll use the father's plough. So if you want, research more. And if not, then you have to wait for another lifetime. It's a technical question. Interesting, but it's a technical question. Not everything is described in the Shastras that we have. Everything's in Shastra, but the Shastras we have actually, we think that the Srimad Bhagavatam is so big, but it's an abridged version. This is the Reader's Digest version. Because in Kali Yuga, our lives are short, our patience is short, our intelligence is very little, so not everything is given. There are so many details. So when did Krishna first start to wear shoes? Well, probably after he left Vrindavan and went to Mathura, but there's no indication of exactly when that happened. So there may be so many questions like that.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, so we should finish there. Hare Krishna. Question? You want to say something? You have a question. All right. Well, we have to ask if more questions are allowed. Slightly over time.
Thanks. One thing I've always wondered: how can you call Krishna Makkanchor or stealing hearts when everything belongs to him?
How can you call Krishna the butter thief or the heart thief when everything belongs to him? Yeah, in that sense he's not a thief, but if we take him as Mother Yashoda takes him, if you see this picture, if we consider him to be the son of Mother Yashoda, then we can consider him a thief. So one has to, it's a different perspective. That's why Krishna becomes the son of Mother Yashoda, and she doesn't know that he's God. Because if he's God, there's no fun. There's no stealing butter. There's no feeding him. Why are you going to feed him? He feeds you. You feed me. Give us this day our daily bread. But that's not a very, there's no loving reciprocation. Then there's no Vatsalya Ras. So, if you want to be strictly philosophical, then Krishna isn't the butter thief. But we don't want to be strictly philosophical. Always. Stealing the heart, yeah, as long as we think, I belong to me. I have my own individual existence separate from Krishna. Then we'll think that I don't belong to Krishna. But Krishna steals our heart and keeps it. Doesn't give it back. So in that sense, Krishna gives us individuality also. So we can choose to have our heart stolen by Krishna or not. Manoha is a well-known name of Krishna, stilling the mind. Chitta Chora. That's also a name that Vallabhacharya gives to Krishna. But it gives to Krishna means it's his eternal name, but he's glorified him as such. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Can I mention about my books?
Yeah.
Okay. On Srila Prabhupada's order, I'm writing books. I think I published 17 now, something like that. So, without going in great detail, I'll just say that some of these books are available on a book table here somewhere, I presume. Probably out on the street. There's no space in here, is there? I don't know. Somewhere here. Where is it? Does anyone? Somewhere around here. Let's see if I remember. There's a beginner's guide to Krishna consciousness. I think most of the devotees have this book. It's usually the first one they're given when they. Then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Biographies, including a biography of Srila Bhakti Saraswati Thakur. If you've read all of Prabhupada's books, then you can read that. Otherwise, you won't begin to understand it, I don't think. Did you read that at all? Yeah. Then Brahmacharya and Krishna Consciousness. My latest book is called Women, Masters or Mothers, addressing the issue of feminism as Srila Prabhupada taught us. Glimpses of traditional Indian life, and so on. There are many books. Devotees tell me that they books about Srila Prabhupada. So devotees tell me that they feel benefited by reading these books. So you may also please do so. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for the opportunity to. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak here on this sacred day. Every day is sacred in Krishna's service. At the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Landanishwara, Jagannath Subhadra Baladev, and Gaur Nitai. And Govardhan is also here. And thank you all for serving so nicely Sri Sri Radha Landanishwara.